What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Angular 4 programming. If you haven't watched the last video, you can go ahead and watch the last video, which wasn't much. It was just trying to install npm Node.js and Angular CLI in order to get started. It was pretty easy. There's a few links that I mentioned in the last video, so we go ahead and watch that. And before we continue, that'll be great. Before we get started, I just want to mention one more thing. I would recommend you guys to watch the video and code along so that you can get the best experience and you can learn it pretty well, because I feel like the only way that you can learn how to program is you actually do it. So get your follow the tutorial and then get your editors and everything, and then just follow along and code along. That's I believe the only way to learn programming. Alright, so let's get started. Let's navigate to our project folder. Okay, so right here, right now, we're going to create a project using Angular CLI. Again, if you haven't installed Angular CLI, you can go ahead and watch the previous video on how to install it. Pretty much just links, linking back to the website on how to download and install it. So if you type, for example, you type ng right now, it's gonna pull up a bunch of Angular CLI commands, different commands and stuff like that. We can definitely go through all these commands later if you guys want to, but at the moment, let's stick to the program. Let's create a new Angular CLI project. So type in Angular new, and I don't know, I'm trying to build a web application where it's kind of like half website web application where people can go in there and look at some information, also sign up, not necessarily sign up, but add themselves to a list. So let's take baby step and I'll go through that. So let's create a new project first. Let's see, say develop way FC. It's actually a software sort of like recruitment site that people can go in there and sign up and for different positions to play. So let's see how it goes. Hit enter. Okay. So now it's gonna go and create a bunch of files and folders. It takes a little bit of time. Alright, I think I'm just going to go ahead and pause it, and we'll get back to it when it's ready. Alright guys, looks like it's finished installing the application, the new project folder. Just finished creating all the files and folders necessary for the Angular 4 application. Then we're going to go ahead and do command ng-serve to start the application. Alright guys, now it's just finished installing, and we run the ng-serve command to start the application. As you can see, this is ng-serve, and then it's just going to take a little while to bootstrap everything and make sure everything's okay. And if you notice, is that it says http localhost 4200. This is actually going to be the URL that we're going to visit in our browser. Alright, so usually if it has any errors, it will tell you right there with the red, it depends on your the editor that you use. Alright, so let's go to localhost 4200 to check it out. Voila! So now we have our Angular application. Alright, so as you can see, this is the welcome page of Angular 4 application. And sometimes if you watch some tutorials some tutorials on Angular 2 applications, it actually has a different welcoming page. It was just basically just a little text right here says welcome to Angular, whatever that is. But for Angular 4 actually has a different welcome page. So don't be confused, don't be surprised. You come in the right place. All right. So without further ado, actually let's take a look at the project structure. So if we look at the project folder, we have the E2E testing. This folder is designed specifically for testing purposes for the whole application. we definitely gonna go and take a look at this later. As of now, this is a more advanced topic, and we definitely gonna take a look at it later. Node modules. Node module contains pretty much all the modules and dependencies the Angular 4 application needs, such as core module, ng2s. All of these modules are pretty much built at the beginning. Remember when you create the new project. Okay, so now let's dig a little deeper inside the source folder and see what are we looking at. So in app folder, this is basically where everything lives. We have an app module.ts, which is pretty much a main file where everything gets created, everything, all the modules and stuff like that get pulled in, get imported, where the app actually get bootstrapped. Then you have the app.component.ts. Is pretty much, if you look in the app.module.ts, you can see that app, the bootstrap, property, it has the app component. So basically, when the app starts, it will look for app component and fire this app.component.ts. And for the app.component.ts, this is a class in TypeScript, guys. So pretty much, this is a class in TypeScript that we're looking at. It's a .ts. It stands for TypeScript, and it contains various different configurations. We're definitely going to take a look at it. For example, at the top, it says import component from Angular/core, which is import everything for all the necessary core features from Angular. All right. Specs.ts is actually a test file that we don't want to write a test file for this specific component. We can go ahead and write a test file here. We'll take a look at that later. .html is actually the template for this specific component. Each component has a .ts file, .spec.ts, HTML, and .css. So you get the code file, let's just put it that way, and the test file, the template file, and the style file. This is totally separate. Let's just say this is a main entrance for the program. All right, so that's that. So don't get confused. All right, and you look at asset. Obviously, you can put images and stuff in here. Environments, .ts file is just specified production environments false right now because we're doing it in our local environment. And once we're ready to push it live, and we'll do more configuration, but that is in the future videos to come. All right, so let's look at the other files. So favicon. Obviously, this is the favicon, a little thing on the browser. It's a little icon on the browser. This is our main index.html, which is where everything gets created. As you can see, this is pretty much a simple HTML page and layout. You have HTML tag, head tag, and stuff like that. This is actually where the application gets bootstrapped, and this is where everything lives, inside this little tag right here. All right, main.ts. Yeah, this is a main setup. This is the main style. This is the style of the whole web application. All right. Remember when I talked about the style for each component? So you have the style for this specific component, which is the app.component. You also have the style for the whole apps. All right. So that's that. Let's look at it. Let's look at just a few other things that a few important files. All right, package.json. This is where everything lives. This is where, as you can see, the different dependencies and modules and stuff like that, automatically get imported when we first created the application, the project, and it has a def and live environment. So that is that. Yeah, that is it. Okay, so let's show you guys a little bit of how it works, all right? So remember I mentioned that .html is actually a template for the application, and app.module.ts is pulling the app component. So right now it's pulling app component, and if you go take a look at app component.html, you have all this welcome text. So what is this? What is this brackets thing? This is actually a binding component for the Angular 4 application. So it's basically telling the application to for the variable title to print it out, the variable title, okay? And as you can see, just like I mentioned before, .ts is actually the code of the component. So if you go look at the code, you can see that the title property is right here and it's equal to app. And that is why we're seeing welcome to app, right? So now let's do something. Let's make some changes to this application and see if we can get it to work. All right. So let's say Angular 4. Let's save it. Now, voila! So it actually refreshes itself, and this one, let's say one great thing about Angular 4 application because it refreshes itself, and you can just see the live changes right there, right? So remember we changed it to Angular 4, and now it shows up Angular 4. Okay, so it's pretty cool. All right, so that is our, I guess, second video of the series on how to create Angular 4 application, and now we create an Angular 4 application, and I can't wait to go through the next episode to create more exciting stuff for you guys. All right, thank you. Peace.
I was